Hello everyone and welcome to my first book video. Oh my gosh, I love these sort of videos and there's definitely going to be plenty more because I've finally gotten back into reading. When I was younger, I literally loved reading so much. Like there would not be a day where I wouldn't have read. But year 7 and 6 came along, didn't read. I felt like I had outgrown all my favorite books. But at the beginning of this year, finally found my thing for reading again and I love it so much. So I'm going to be showing you guys, or telling you, my TBR list, all the books that I'm literally so excited to read. And since becoming a reader again, I have not stopped scrolling on Book Talk, watching booktube videos, and going on Goodreads and adding everything to my want to read list. So I will link my Goodreads in the description if you like any of these books and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to read this too, or like if we have similar reading styles, you can go follow me. This list is like so long, I have no idea if I'll actually be able to get through it all, but I know I'll definitely be adding more in the future, and I know there's books that I want to read like right now that I haven't added yet. So let's start off with some classic Colleen Hoover books. Okay, so currently I have read 5 of Colleen Hoover's books, and there's a few more that I really want to read. Eventually I want to read like all of her books, but these are the ones that stood out to me the most. Also, the reason I love Colleen Hoover so much is because her books are so easy to read. Like I can get them done in like 3 days, which is good for me, and a lot of people can get them done like in one sitting, but I can get her books done so quickly and I love that. I love fast books, so these are definitely the perfect books if you like fast books. I really want to read Reminders of Him. I absolutely love the cover. I think it's like really pretty, and this is her latest book and it's definitely like one of the most popular, I think. I've heard a lot about it, so I really want to read it. So I'm pretty sure this book is about a mum who has just come out of jail for like 5 years or 15 years, I'm not sure. She wants to gain back her relationship with her daughter. Nobody really likes her in her town because of what she's done, so I'm pretty sure she tries to like disguise herself, and she ends up meeting a guy and he doesn't remember her old self, but she remembers him, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure there's 2 romances, the daughter's romance and her romance, like the mom's romance. So I'm really excited to read this book. It sounds really interesting. So that's definitely one of my top Colleen Hoover books that I want to read. The next Colleen Hoover book I want to read is Without Merit. This book, I actually like love the cover. I feel like it's really cool. But this book is about this family who is apparently anything but normal. Their mom has cancer. They are a Christian family living in an old church. The father is married to the mother's former nurse. The little half brother isn't allowed to do anything, like anything fun or eat certain foods. And her family forces Merritt, the main character, to keep lots and lots of secrets. While antique shopping, she meets this guy who is unavailable. Merritt, who is fed up with the family's lies, decides to shatter the happy family illusion. When her escape plan fails, she is forced to deal with the staggering consequences of telling the truth. So this book seems really interesting. By the way, all that part I just kind of like read off the back and changed a few bits, but the book looks really interesting. I really want to read it. The next Colleen Hoover book is Confess. So from what I've read, Auburn Reed is determined to rebuild her shattered life, and when she walks into an art studio looking for a job, she finds this guy, Owen. But once she takes a chance and puts her heart into control, but only to find out that Owen is holding a huge secret and his past threatens their relationship. The only way to get her life back on track is to cut out Owen out of her life completely. But can she do that? The next book is Regretting You. Morgan Grant is the main character, and she has a 16-year-old daughter who she had really young, and she doesn't want her daughter to make the same mistake. Morgan put her own dreams on hold for Clara, her daughter, and she doesn't want to do the same. Morgan and Clara find it really difficult to coexist. The only person to bring peace into this household is Chris, Morgan's husband and Clara's father. But the peace is shattered when Chris is involved in an accident. While struggling to rebuild everything, Morgan finds comfort in the last person she expected, and Clara turns to the one boy she's been forbidden to see. With each passing day, new secrets, resentment, and misunderstandings make mother and daughter fall further apart. So far apart, it might be impossible for them to ever fall back together. So there's 2 romances in this book, I'm pretty sure. It's another mother-daughter story. The next one is Layla. I haven't heard much about this book except that it is similar to Variety, where it's more of like a thriller with a side romance. And I really liked Variety, or Verity, I don't really know how to pronounce it, but I really liked that book, so it's definitely one that I am considering reading. This next book is the Colleen Hoover book that I want to read the most. It is Heartbones. It's apparently a very summery book, and what I've read from the back covers, it's about this girl, Baya, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and she is going to Texas to see her dad after her family's death. And she doesn't know her dad very well, but she meets this guy called Samson, and they really like each other, but they come from 2 different families, neglect and wealth. So they decide to just call it a summer fling. But Vi doesn't realize she's basically fallen in love with him, can't leave it as a summer fling. I really want to read this one. I love summery books, because especially reading them in winter makes me really jealous of summer. The last Colleen Hoover book that I have in my TBR besides series is Never Never. Childhood friends who've been in love since the age of 14, who their memory of each other suddenly vanishes, and they try and work out what happened to them. That book sounds really interesting, and I love the childhood friends. It's so cute. Okay, it just started raining, so I'm really sorry if you can hear that in the background. You definitely can, but the next author I want to talk about is Emily Henry. I just finished her book Beach Read, and I loved it so much. Again, it gave me major summer vibes, but the next book I want to read from her is You and Me on Vacation, or People We Met on Vacation. I've obviously got this book. It's next on my list to read. It's about these 2 people, Poppy and Alex, who go on a trip at summer every year, and on the back it shows something different about each year from the summer. And then the summer that they're currently in, Poppy asks Alex to join her on one last trip. Could this trip make them realize they're not just friends after all? And another book I want to read by Emily Henry is a brand new book, and it is Book Lovers. Oh my gosh, I want to read this book so badly. The cover is so cute, just the idea of the book. They both love reading, and oh, I really want to read this one. It's definitely top on my to be read list. I really want to read it. It's about the main character, Nora, who goes on a holiday with her sister Libby, and she keeps running into Charlie. The next book I want to read is by Tilly Cole, which is 1,000 Boy Kisses. It's about a school relationship, and they believe they are made for each other. But when the guy returns from a trip, I'm not sure, he goes somewhere, he is really confused why she suddenly stopped talking to him. And turns out, massive secret, and things get unreal. Okay, so I have 2 books I want to read by the author Tashi Bwayan. I definitely butchered her last name. But the only reason I know about this book is because the author had an encounter with Tom Holland at her high school. So it's apparently about that, where a celebrity comes to her school. That's all I know. And then another book by her is Counting Down With You. I don't know anything about this book except the cover is kind of cute. Christina Lauren, I haven't read one of her books, but I know that they're amazing and I want to read them so bad. Again, top of my list books to read. First one is The Unhoneymooners, which I don't know exactly what it's about, but I'm pretty sure it's about the best man and I think the bridesmaid. I don't know what's it called, where they're her best bridesmaid, like the best man, and anyway, I've forgotten, but they go on the married couple's honeymoon because everyone, the wedding except for them two, got like food poisoning, but they were the other ones that didn't eat the food, so that's why they don't have it. So they went on their honeymoon, because it was already paid for, to Hawaii. I love Hawaii and I love a summer setting, so I definitely want to read this one, and my friends read it and she said it's really good. So another one is Love in Other Words. I've heard that this is like people's favorite book. I know it's about childhood friends. I don't know, I don't think I remember anything else. And the last one by her is The Soulmate Equation. I know that this book is about a guy who is a scientist and he makes an app where you can find your soulmate. The main girl and him, they run into each other, and you know, they have that like bad first impression sort of thing, and it didn't go very well. But she finds out about this app and she tries it, and they end up being like soulmates, like the perfect match, like 100%. So they obviously knew each other, and they're like, what? This person, we're not soulmates. But the guy needs his app to go well, so he's like, hey, why don't we just pretend so my app can go well? They do, they go to like interviews and stuff, and everyone starts shipping them, and as you know, real feelings actually come. So it's fake dating, and I like the idea of it. It sounds really interesting. I also want to read The Kiss Quotient by Katie Coutinho. I again am butchering her last name, but I'm pretty sure it's about this girl who has autism. She hires like an escort or something to teach her how to kiss and all that stuff, and then they end up actually liking each other. The Roommate by Rosie Denan. I don't exactly remember what this book is about, except that the cover is kind of weird, but I know that they share like an apartment or something. Next one is very popular. It is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I know this is like a workplace relationship where it's like they're fighting for the same job and they hate each other, but that's all I really know. But I'm pretty sure that's like the main plot, is that they hate each other, they're fighting for the same job, and they end up catching feelings and like each other. The book that I'm currently reading is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Amars. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I love it so much so far. I'm on page 217 and they are just at the airport right now, about to go to Spain. But if you didn't know, it's about Aaron and Catalina, and they work together. He ends up being her boss. It might be a bit of a spoiler, but I'm pretty sure it like says that on the back. Aaron agrees to go to Spain with her because she needs a date for her sister's wedding, so she isn't alone when she sees her ex-boyfriend who is engaged. She can't just be alone, so she needs to take someone. She's telling her friend this story, Rosie, when Aaron eavesdrops and is like, hey, I'll go with you. She's like, no, because they have a past where they're not very friendly with each other. You can see he really likes her, but she's oblivious to it, and she really likes him, but she doesn't really show it, whereas he definitely does. They go on like, I guess, a few dates. It's not necessarily a date. He has something that he wants in return, which is to go to a like fundraiser thing, and he needs a date, so he takes her and they do little things for each other, spend more time with each other, and then they go to Spain to assist his wedding, and that's all I know. It's fake dating. I guess it's Grumpy Sunshine, work rivals, I guess you could say. I definitely explained it really badly, but I'm trying to explain it without giving spoilers, and then I keep forgetting stuff. But I'm sorry if that's really confusing. Another one by the same author is American Roommate Experiment. I'm guessing they have to like share an apartment. I don't actually know much about this book. I just know the cover looked good, and I think when I read the back, I was interested. And now I have a few books by Rachel Lynn Solomon I want to read. We Can't Keep Meeting Like This, The X Talk, and Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow. Now, I don't really know much about any of them. I think Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow is childhood friends. I don't know, don't take my word for that. We Can't Keep Meeting Like This, I don't remember either, but I know The X Talk is about these two people who are like work at a podcast, like a radio station, and they need to pretend that they're dating to give dating advice, I'm pretty sure. This next book is by Rebecca Surley and it is in 5 years. I actually kind of forget this book, but I've just looked it up, and it's about this girl who wakes up in a different apartment with a different wedding ring on her finger and a different guy. The television news is on in the background and it says 2025. So she is 5 years in the future. And then when it turns into midnight, she goes back into 2020. This next one is again like at my top of the list. It is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Painter, yes. It's a YE romance, and I know in this book they have like playlists in it so you can listen to the songs while reading the book. And I think they use lots of references to like movies and stuff, but I'm not exactly sure what this one is about, except I know that it's been like very recommended to me by one of my favorite booktubers, Hayley Pham. She said it's like her new favorite book. The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. Pretty sure it's a high school fake dating book where her friend teases her about never having a boyfriend, and she's like, well, actually I'm dating someone, which is a major lie. Now a bunch of books by Tessa Bailey. So the first one is Fix Her Up. It is about this girl whose family owns a renovation company, and the guy who is like was a famous baseball player, and everyone is always like, hey, this was so cool, this was like your greatest hit and all this stuff. Georgie, the girl, she has been like made fun of for not having an actual relationship, and she goes to her childhood best friend, which is the baseball player, that they should fake date to get everyone off each other's backs. Another one is It Happened One Summer. This one I know is about a influencer socialite who has gotten into like trouble and had a party that got into big chaos and all that stuff. Stepdad banishes her to her dad who passed away's old like hometown. She meets this guy who is grumpy, so it's Grumpy Sunshine, and he works as a like fisherman, which was her dad's old job. Because it's a small town, they keep bumping into each other, so I guess it's like forced proximity. She misses LA, but she doesn't want to leave Brendan. Another one, which I'm pretty sure is really similar, is Hook, Line and Sinker. It's set in like a similar place. I'm pretty sure like the front cover is both on jetties, and the guy's like a crab fisherman, but he is not into committed relationships until he met this girl. And the last one by Tessa Bailey is Window Shopping. Literally no idea what this book is about, except that it's short and it's about Christmas time. You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hoggle. I don't exactly know what this book is about, except that is like a second chance romance. They are engaged and they don't know if they're gonna make it to the aisle. One Day in December by Josie Silver. I don't know what this one is about, except that I'm pretty sure it was like around Christmas time. The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. This book is about two sisters who are going on a road trip to a friend's wedding, and they are on the trip. A car runs into them, and it is the main character's ex-boyfriend. And they are also heading to the wedding, and the car's ruined, so they have to go along with them for the trip. Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Walsh. This book I don't know much about, except that the cover is so cute. The main thing that drew me to this is that it's gelato, and like ice cream is like my favorite food. It's in Italy. She's only in Italy because it was her mother's dying wish, and she found journals that her mum had kept when she lived in Italy. And she's finding all of these like secret romances, hidden bakeries. Her ever so charming friend Ren follows her to all these places and figure out a secret that has been kept for too long. I'm gonna speed through the next few of these because I actually kind of forget what they're about. The Year We Fell Down by Sabrina Bowen, Marie Andreu, don't know how you pronounce her name, but Love in English, or Nolan, If He Had Been With Me. And then for Taylor Jenkins Reid, I feel like she has everyone on like Book Talk and BookTube in a threshold. Like everyone loves her books. So the first one I'm going to be reading by her is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is the book that I'm reading next, but I'm so excited to read this book, and I know it's about this Hollywood star Evelyn Hugo who is ready to tell the truth about her glamorous life, but she chooses an unknown magazine reporter, Monique, to interview her, and Monique listens to her as she tells all of her stories, making her way to Los Angeles, to her decision to leave show business. And of course, the seven husbands along the way. Daisy Jones and the Six. Don't know much about this one except it's a band. So there's like 7 main characters, which I think is Daisy Jones and the Six, which is their 6 band mates. But the cool thing about this one is that it's all in dialogue. So like all the descriptions you see of the places are what they're actually saying. And Malibu Rising, this one I don't again know much about, except that I'm pretty sure they're kind of like almost like influences, and it goes through like their life. Main characters is the girl Nina, who was a popular surfer and supermodel, and she has 2 brothers, Jay and Hud. One is photographer and one is surfer, and a little sister Kit, and they're like the main family in this like town. And Nina, the main character, holds a party every year, and the only person who isn't looking forward to the party is her, because she doesn't like being the center of attention. And she's just been publicly abandoned by her pro tennis player husband. Hud is inseparable with Nina. Jay is counting down the minutes till nightfall so he can see the girl he really likes. And Kit has secrets of her own. And the last one that I have known nothing about is One True Love. 2 books by Penelope Douglas is Birthday Girl and Punk 57. Birthday Girl, I know, is about very big age difference, which so I don't necessarily want to read that one. Punk 57, I know nothing of it. 6 of Crows by Lee Bardugo. I think this is like a fantasy book, which is not really my thing, but I know it's a Netflix series. Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I know this is set in London. It's about 2 guys. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. This book I know is very sad. That's all I know about it. Now the next few books are books that were recommended for Gilmore Girls lovers. The City Baker's Guide to Country Living by Louise Miller. Empire Falls by Richard Russo. You've Been Gilmored, The Companion by Taryn Dry. 2 books by Mia Sosa is The Wedding Crasher and The Worst Best Man. The Worst Best Man I know is about 2 people that get like married or are about to get married, and then she ends up liking the best man, and The Wedding Crasher I've known nothing about. It Only Happens in the Movies by Holly Bourne. This one's similar to Better Than the Movies. I know this one's about 2 people who work in movie cinema. And then by Katie Kutongo is 99 Days. This book I know is a summer book, and it's about every single day in summer. Twig Cute by Emma Lord. I don't know much about this one except obviously that it's about Twitter, and I'm guessing that they have like a relationship online. This next one is The Summer of Broken Rules by Kelly L. Walter. I don't know. This book is again top of my TBR. I really want to read it. I don't know much except that they go to this place in the Margaret Rivers every year, and they play this game called Assassin, like where they're constantly shooting like water guns at each other. That's all I know. Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. This book is set in France. Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. Holly Black has The Cruel Prince, and that's very, very, very popular on TikTok. I know it's a fantasy book, and I know it is a part of a series, but you can read the first book as a standalone. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstein. I know this book is about a circus that appears every night, and I know it's a fantasy book. Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. The Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. I know this book is about these guys who come together for a book club who are all like failed marriages, and they come and read romance books together to try and fix their relationships. So I think it's like a really cute concept. Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. The Atlas 6 by Olive Blake. I don't know much about this book, except that it is apparently amazing and it is a fantasy book. While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I know this book cover is really cool because it has a bunch of stuff like crossed out. I know the author, this story's actually happened in real life and it's about like her life and all the crazy stuff that happened to it. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. Second Chance Summer by Morgan Mason. The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I know this book is about two people who are like madly in love with each other and have been best friends for so long. He's a football player, she's a ballerina. They can't tell each other because they don't think the other person likes each other, but then they have to like fake date. I don't remember why. The Romantics by Leah Conan. Then 2 books by Lauren Asher. I know there's also a series, but I know I want to read that by her as well. The Fine Print and Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I know I really want to read. I know The Fine Print, I'm pretty sure it's like fake dating. To Love Jason Thorne by Ella Mays. And this one I don't necessarily want to read, but I know it's major book talk. Book is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. The reason I don't want to read this one is because I'm not interested in Greek mythology. Then some books by Maria Zapata, and the reason I haven't read them is because they're so long and they're slow burn, like major slow burn. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, Culty from Lakuv with Love, Wait for It and All Roads Lead Here. I know The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, it's a football romance and she's like his assistant, but he didn't treat her well, so she resigned, and then he's like, wait, I really do need you when they come back. Now moving on to some series is The Friend Zone Trilogy by Abby Jimenez. It's The Friend Zone, The Happy Ever After playlist, and Life's Too Short. Then I have 2 series by Jenny Han. The Summer I Turned Pretty series, which has The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. And then the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series by Jenny Han, which is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, and Always and Forever. And then a series by Colleen Hugo, which hasn't really come out yet, is the It Ends With Us book, which I've already read the book there. But It Starts With Us is coming out on October 18th and I can't wait to read it. It's from Atlas's point of view. Another series by Colleen Hoover is Maybe Someday, Maybe Not, and Maybe Now. And another one by Colleen Hoover, which is Hopeless and Losing Hope. And Hopeless is from the girl's point of view and Losing Hope is the same story but from the guy's point of view. And then there is 2 like novellas in this series, which is Finding Cinderella and Finding Perfect, which links Hopeless and All Your Perfects together. So then the next book in the series is All Your Perfects. And I just recently watched the show and I love it so much. It's Heartstopper, so I want to read the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th book. And then they have like other books that are like on with the series, or like from different characters in the same like friendship group and all that stuff. So that's Loveless, I Was Born for This, Solitaire, Radio Silence, Nick and Charlie, and This Winter. And then I have 2 series by Elle Kennedy, which I'm pretty sure actually like link. But the first one I think is the Off-Campus series, if I'm correct, is The Deal, The Mistake, The Score, The Goal, and The Legacy. And then the other series by her is the Briar You series, and it's The Chase, The Risk, The Play, and The Dare. And then another trilogy by Jojo Myers, but it's Me Before You, After You, and Soulmate. And then this next one is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I want to read these books so bad. They are, again, at the top is The Inheritance Game, The Hawthorne Legacy, and the book that hasn't come out yet is The Final Gambit. And this next book is like my top series to read. It's by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which is the Addicted to You / Calloway Sisters series. The Addicted to You, Ricochet, Addicted for Now, and then it goes to the Calloway Sisters, which is Kiss the Sky, Hot House, Flower, and then it goes back, I'm pretty sure, to Thrive and Addicted After All, then back to the Calloway Sisters and does Feel the Fire, Long Way Down, and then the last book is Some Kind of Perfect, and it's like 800 or 1,000 pages long. And then one by Holly Jackson is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead. Then the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Act Your Age, Eve Brown. The Selection series, which I know is about this prince who was looking for like a princess or something, and then they have to like go through like a selection series. It's kind of like The Bachelorette but with girls, I'm pretty sure. And the last series that is on my list, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna read because it's apparently, I don't know, people have mixed emotions about it, but it's a fantasy. But it's the Carabao series, which is Carabao Legendary Vinyl and then this is like another side book is Once Upon a Broken Heart. Now these are basically all the books I've been recommended the most, or like I'm most interested in. There are plenty of other books that I want to read that I haven't added to my list, but that was everything on my TBR and the first of many book videos. If you like book videos, I would really like it if you would comment this emoji just to see if you guys are actually interested in book videos, because I know I'm gonna love making them. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye!